A Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Congratulations to the UCLA women's basketball team. They are going to the Final Four for the first time in their 41-year history as an NCAA program. UCLA held off LSU for a 72-65 victory in the Regional 1 final. 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals for junior guard Gabriela Jaquez. She scored 7 points in the final 2 minutes, including a clutch three-pointer with a minute 30 left. Center Lauren Betts had 17 points and 6 block shots. The Bruins are 34-2. Their only 2 losses this season came to USC. UCLA and USC will meet for a 4th time this season in the Final Four if the Trojans can beat Connecticut tonight in the Regional 4 final. UCLA would meet the USC-UConn winner on Friday in Tampa. South Carolina, the defending national champions, will play the winner of tonight's Texas Christian Regional 3 title game in the other Final Four matchup. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, this is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and for over 20 years, Parkside Economic Development Corporation has served Leimert Park and surrounding communities, empowering tomorrow's leaders and changing lives. Parkside EDC has awarded over $400,000 in college scholarships while sharing economic principles of the Big Five of money with students and their families. Parkside EDC partners with organizations like the Brotherhood Crusade to assure our youth have the financial acumen to succeed. Parkside EDC provides families and businesses with financial insights, offering free online, on-site, and on-air B-Warp presentations. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Programs helps our community acquire, sustain, and pass down legacy wealth. High school seniors can apply for this year's scholarship awards at parksideedc.org. Scholarships will be awarded at Parkside EDC's Gospel/Jazz Brunch on Sunday, April the 27th. For details, tickets, or donations, please visit parksideedc.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I think about the day I met the perfect stranger. I think about us. And I think about the day I got wrapped around your finger. I think about us. The sun was shining on you. The Lord was smiling on me. And love was calling us. I had my mind made up. And I can't stop loving you. I can't help myself. And I can't get over you. No matter what I tell myself, baby.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Never thought I'd ever love.
All right, so it's time for Black Marriage Monday. I do feel a wee bit unqualified at times to host this segment since I am not married, but I have been married before. But I want us to thrive in our concept of marriage and what it means to be married and be in a long-term committed relationship in a way that is productive, constructive, and blessed. And so I'm inviting in one of the folks I know who has been able to accomplish that. She's the founder of the Thomas Talent Agency in Los Angeles, which was a Black woman-owned firm representing actors in film and TV. I was one of them at one time. She's now retired, but back in those days, she represented some big-name talent along with character and commercial actors for over 20 years. But more relevant to this conversation, she's been married to her husband, Leroy, for over 50 years. Is that right? Venus Thomas, welcome.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, doing pretty good. Yeah, we're logging in 52 years in April 14.
Oh, wow.
It'll
Happy
be
anniversary.
52 years. And we look at each other and say, is this really happening?
Wow. You guys have been married 52 years. And you guys, I mean, you really kind of do act like you just started dating.
Well, it's interesting you say that because a friend, we were sitting at our house one day chatting, and we had a friend over, and we were just talking, and he said, you know what, I just realized you guys really like each other. And that was interesting. That was very interesting. We never heard that before. And I think that he hit the nail on the head. A lot of people don't last because they don't truly like each other. I mean, there's love, and then there's the like of it. And so that was really eye-opening for us to say, yeah, we do, and we thought everybody did, but obviously they don't. But it was a revelation to him because he realized we're just kicking it, and here's these two people that just enjoy each other's company, and that is probably the base of why we're having so much fun. We're having such a wonderful journey. I've been retired for 15 years now, and God, I'm just living my best days. I just couldn't have expected my life to turn out as it has.
Well, it's interesting you say that too, because there's all these theories about date nights and all that, and we'll get into that. But this basic idea that you guys just like each other, so you like hanging out. I mean, people, it's almost a trope at this point about marry your best friend. But at least it sounds like marry at least someone you actually like, that you like hanging out with. Not just that gives you butterflies or that, that you're attracted to, but that you actually just want to hang out with.
Yeah, and talk to all the time, and share whatever's going on in your life. And it's so good in this day and time to have somebody at your back. I mean, to have that feeling of whatever you decide to do or whatever it's going to be, this person is going to be supportive. You don't have to feel like, oh, God, I got to tell him this, or you just know that this person is might not like it or might have their feelings about it, but will tell you that, but will say, well, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to support you. We're going to get through this, but, why'd you do that? But I'm going to support you. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I want to get more into that and how that works. And if you have you have a question or your own rules for marriage, what makes black marriage work and all that, want to hear it. But I gotta issue a correction. Happy Women's History Month to you, by the way, Venus Thomas. You made Women's History by opening a black-owned talent agency right in Beverly Hills, unapologetically, and made that thing work and represented some top talent. Me and Miles are guilty of, we were paying tribute to women for Women's History Month. I forgot to pay tribute to my own mom, Diane DiPrima, and who was a great poet. She was poet laureate of San Francisco. We forgot Sherry Bell. We love Sherry Bell. Sherry's one of our, day ones, she's one of my ride or die friends, not just a contributor here to KBLA. I think she's the only person I know of that we've been trying to give a radio show to, but she's too busy. Miles, you wanted to add a couple too real quick.
Well, say too, I forgot my mom as well. Let me shout out to my mom, Miss Lisa Farlow, holding it down on the way to work right now, tapped in.
Hi, Miss Lisa. Thank you for making Miles,
Hey, Mom.
giving us Miles. And there was somebody else we forgot too, wasn't there? No? We should. Well, Molly Bell, straight out of Compton. Straight out of Compton. We never want to take you for granted, Miss Molly Bell. Reparations activist, radio contributor in her own right. She was on the front page. She is on this show, and I know she shows up still on Carl Nelson shows and other shows. So yes, we just have a lot going on. It's not that we don't love you. Sherry, Molly Bell, and our mamas. And you, Miss Venus, as well, for your work. It's not that easy to just set up shop in Beverly Hills and just start an agency.
Yeah. It was, but I always felt that I could do it, and I think that was important. And then I also knew that my husband would support me in my efforts, even though he didn't think it was such a good idea at the time. It was like, oh my God, but Beverly Hills,
Right?
But he went along with it because he knew that I was determined. And when you're somebody who gives 100 to whatever you do, if you give that 100%, and the person that is with you watches you in your lifelong, in your journey together, and sees that you always give 100% and you don't back down and you're not trifling, then that person will be like in your corner. So that's really, really important.
Yeah, it's a great point. I think many times, well, as women with careers or strong opinions, of which I have both of those, it can feel like you have to compromise to be in a happy relationship. You've got to tone it down, dim your light, make your fire burn a little less hot. And you certainly, from what I observed, never had to do that.
No, and the good thing about that is that my husband even tells me now, don't ever lose your fire. That's the thing that he admires. And so he's a very secure man, very, very secure in himself. So whatever I do, he's not, like he doesn't feel less of a man. He feels that he feels good about it. He feels like proud that I'm doing something as opposed to, now, why'd she do that? Why'd she show me up? It's not that kind of a relationship with us. And I think that is important to point out, that he's, happy about my success.
He's a strong black man.
Strong black man, real man. And I was lucky to meet him, in the 70s. When we got together, it was such a different time than it is now. And we were fortunate to meet each other at the right time in both of our lives. We had just, started on new adventures individually. He had just gotten out of the Army, and I was, single and, just getting ready to change my lifestyle, and it ended up being moving to L.A. with him. So it was just a perfect, time in both of our lives that we met.
Mm. Well, I know you guys have some rules and routines and ways of moving that maybe some of us who are, whether you want to be married, you are married, or you're just interested in a successful, long-term, committed relationship, we may be able to learn from. Yeah, let's figure it out. Let's do better. Let's know better. Let's be better. It's a Black Marriage Monday on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580. Before the fire, Altadena was a real-life Wakanda. A thriving black oasis just 15 miles from downtown Los Angeles. 80% black residents were homeowners, building intergenerational wealth against the odds. It was a hub of black-owned businesses, churches, and cultural institutions. It stood as a symbol of black resilience and economic independence. Then, in a matter of hours, it was gone. The fire tore through homes, swallowed businesses, and left behind a painful void. But was it just an unstoppable act of nature, or was negligence involved? Did officials ignore early warning signs? Were the response efforts delayed or insufficient? What role, if any, did corporate or government failures play? Survivors are demanding answers. Don't miss our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall. The Eden Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting. On Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center, 1081 North Fair Oaks in Pasadena. Join Dominique DiPrima, Nee Cordelai Corte, James Farr, Tavis Smiley, and a panel of survivors, community leaders, and experts as we commemorate Day 100 since the wildfires flared up. And we discuss where we go from here. It's KBLA's Eden Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting Town Hall. Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center in Pasadena. Light refreshments to follow. Admission is free, but sign up is required at our KBLA1580.com website. This is a community call to action brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and Quinn Emanuel Trial Lawyers. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-511-2112. That's 800-511-2112. 800-511-2112.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thank you for joining me for a Black Marriage Monday. Let's see. I don't. It's always a struggle, Venus. Do I get more? How much of my own dirt do I put out on the airwaves? How much of my own struggle do I share in service of an entertaining and actually helpful show? Let's start with you. Do you guys have rules? We never do this, or we always must do this?
Well, mostly, I think our biggest rule, and it's not even a rule, is just we respect each other so much. We have never cursed at each other. We've never said that thing to each other that you can't take back. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like people have said things or done things that it was like they wish that they could take back because it really, really left a bad taste. I don't know why, but I think that we're just honorable in that way to our relationship, that we wouldn't do that to each other. And so when you have that, you fight fair. I mean, it's like, you know, we have fights and we have silences where we don't speak to each other, but we fight fair, and we don't try to really dig in and hurt the other. You know, cut the person so bad that you can't come back from it. You know, it's like it's what the issue is. It's not bringing up, well, what about last year? We don't do that. It's like, this is the issue, and this is what we're going to fight about, and then it's going to be over and
stick
done.
Stick to the current issue. You don't.
Yeah, that's,
you don't drag up
the case
old
is
stuff.
Closed. You stick to the current issue. You can't keep going back and talking about that, or else you always get into a bad place. And we both have agreed, not even speaking it, but in our actions towards each other. We've both agreed that we don't do that. And I don't know if it was just something that happened over the course of our marriage, but maybe so. But I think that we have that kind of respect for each other, that, okay, this is what we're going to argue about, and once this is done, it's over. It's no going back. We're not going to talk about this next time we fall out.
B. Bell says teamwork makes the dream work, and I think that's true. I've seen that with you guys. But Morris wants to know, this isn't on relationships, but kind of, because it was your husband who helped support you in having your agency in Beverly Hills. He wants to know, did you ever experience harassment there when you had your agency there?
You mean harassment from men or anything like that?
I think he's talking about because you are a black woman doing business in Beverly Hills, which is predominantly white.
Oh, well, it was the business that was it's like it's been my life, so I don't think that I really thought about it in that way. It was just, this is what I'm going to do, and it don't even matter what somebody else has up against me, or what somebody else is going to say about me, or what somebody else is going to try to drag me down. That wasn't even a consideration. If you go and do you and do what you're supposed to do and don't worry about what others have to say about you, and that was one of the reasons I opened the agency, because I didn't tell a lot of people, because I didn't want to hear them say, really? You think you could do that? No, I'm going to do it. It's like if you make up your own mind and you have that kind of strength, then it doesn't really matter what others say around you or what they try to bring you down. I think for me it made me stronger. It's like, oh, really? You think that? Okay, watch this.
Okay, so the rules, as far as what I'm hearing so far on the no side, are respect, not cussing at each other. And here's the thing: if you know Venus, she cusses. It's not like you never cuss. Oh. Just not at your husband.
I keep people real around me.
Right.
We're gonna we stay in our place and do, because I had to manage all of these actors and stuff who always had excuses and who always, this is that and that and that. No, if you want to be in my agency, this is the way it's going to run. And you can get out now. Let's talk about this. Let's go on. You move on now, so that we don't have to go through, because I'm not going to go through this again with you.
Oh, I'm glad I never got that
really
lecture.
Get real.
I'm glad I never got that
lecture. Got to get real.
When I was at your agency, I know I saw her fire famous actors. You also, though, I mean, and this is about being real too, but obviously you guys do it with respect. One of the things I learned from you is to be clear about your expectations in a committed relationship from the beginning.
Yes.
So what does that look like?
Well, what it is that when you first come together, this person is his own person, you're your own person, and so you have to find that meeting place, and you have to figure out, okay, these are the things that I'm going to be able to quote get away with, or this is not going to be acceptable, and you have to accept that. And same with him. We both had to accept that we had certain things that were going to be easy, and then there were certain things that, that's not going to work here. So do I want to pursue that, or do I want to let it go and let us have a good place? Or else, you bring it up as an issue, like, we'll sit down and talk to each other and say, hey, I got a bone to pick with you. And then, we get on full alert and say, okay, this is something that bothers that person, so let's hash it out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure could give a specific example, because I don't want to just put your business on the streets. I know a couple of things where you said, like, this is not something that I do, but I can do this. And he might have said the same.
Right. I'm trying to think of something specific. I mean, you could bring up something if you...
Well, grocery shopping was what came to mind.
Oh. Yeah, my husband, he just took over the grocery shopping, because we probably had more arguments in the grocery store. And we found that was a problem. And so he just said, look, I'll go get the groceries, because you get here and we have a list, and then you get 30 things that aren't on the list. And that's not, we would fight about that. We'd be at the grocery store and I want to put something in the basket, and he's like, no, that's not, so that was an argument. And so I don't know how many times that happened before we sat down and said, okay, so who's going to do groceries? He says, I'm not, I could go and stick to the list. And he does.
So ever since then, he does the grocery shopping.
He does the grocery shopping, which saves us so much money, because I'm one of those people who, I shop online, so I just buy something because, oh, this is cute, or I want to try it, and I'm never going to try it. And he's not. He just go.
Maybe Leroy should do my grocery shopping too. I like that. Why do I have 300 things in my cart right now?
And who knew that would turn out to be a big arguing point? And
right.
It did. It was like it got serious. Like we'd be in the grocery store arguing at each other, and it's like that wasn't necessary. But he saw that and said, "No, we can't continue. You let me go grocery shopping." And then I had to agree with that and not like fight about it. It wasn't worth fighting about because he was telling the truth. And that's another thing. You got to let the other person have their truth. I mean, that was the truth. And so it didn't make sense for me to sit up and say, no, argue about that because he was telling the truth. I mean, I was adding things that didn't need to be added. And I had to be honest with myself about that. And it just happened, and it's so much better. So, and I feel good that we made that decision many years ago.
Let's go to Mikhail calling us from LA. Good morning, Mikhail.
Slum. Mikhail, the Hebrew Israelite. I'm just calling in because today is the Women's History Last Day, and I want to give out my 4 favorite women of all time.
Okay, well, we're not really on that topic, but if you can do it quick, let's do it.
Okay, the Queen of Sheba. I love her. She ruled Ethiopia, and there was peace and justice. Harriet Tubman is probably my favorite. She helped free a lot of people's lives. And coming to the day, I love Cookie Johnson. She helped save Magic Johnson's life. People don't know she took Magic Johnson to Dr. Goss, and Magic got healed. And the greatest one today is Melina Abdullah. I love her so much. She don't know that, but she is trying to save Black lives, people. That's it.
What a great list, Mikhail. I love that list. People don't talk enough about the Queen of Sheba, and they don't talk enough about Dr. Melina Abdullah, and, of course, Cookie Johnson, a local iconic woman. And Harriet Tubman, they do talk enough about, but I don't think they understand why she deserves the accolades she does. I know we're talking Black Marriage Monday, Venus, but you read more than just about anyone I know. Do you have a comment on what Mikhail said?
Oh, I agree. I wouldn't have thought that list, but I think it's very well thought out in terms of how he views Black women. That's a very, very good list, and I didn't know the part about Cookie, so that's very interesting to know. Yeah,
it's funny. I appreciate the uplift of women on this Eid. It's the last day of Ramadan. Eid Mubarak to all who are celebrating. And my friend and colleague, Dr. Melina Abdullah, who is also celebrating, she's Muslim, I think will go down in history. I believe we take her for granted because she's everywhere in LA and because she's on this radio station every Saturday from 8 to 10 with her show, This Is Not a Drill. But the way that Black Lives Matter grassroots has changed the civil rights movement in this country for this era, and she's been a driving force behind that. The way that they relentlessly stand with the families of those who have been murdered by cops, the way that they boldly challenge policy and just speak out and continue to organize with 39 national chapters is something that I believe history will look very favorably upon. And so I'm glad you included her in that list. It's Black Marriage Monday. We're going to find out the always do list. We heard the always don't list. I want to hear the always do list from the wife of a strong Black man in a 52-year happy marriage. Good things are going on every day. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Maryland's Black Governor Wes Moore blames the Dali vessel operators for the deadly Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore last year, which killed 6 maintenance workers. Moore told CNN's State of the Union that the ship sailed despite serious mechanical issues. President Trump stated that he's serious about serving a 3rd term, citing high poll numbers and support from allies, despite the 22nd Amendment prohibiting it. During a phone call with NBC News, he added that there were methods for making it happen. Search and recovery efforts continue for 4 U.S. soldiers missing in Lithuania after their armored vehicle sank during training. Dive teams from the U.S., Spain, and Poland are involved. And Kentucky's Owensboro-Davies County Regional Airport is honoring the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen for a third straight year. A VFW march recognized the World War II pilots who were the first black military aviators and flew more than 1,000 missions, shooting down over 250 enemy aircraft. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Since the dawn of baseball, countless players have heard the call of destiny. Witness the heroes of the game in ballparks nationwide. Get your tickets today at MLB.com/tickets. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Congratulations to the UCLA women's basketball team. They are going to the Final Four for the first time in their 41-year history as an NCAA program. UCLA held off LSU for a 72-65 victory in the Regional 1 final. 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals for junior guard Gabriela Jaquez. She scored 7 points in the final 2 minutes, including a clutch three-pointer with 1:30 left. Center Lauren Betts had 17 points and 6 block shots. The Bruins are 34-2. Their only 2 losses this season came to USC. UCLA and USC will meet for a 4th time this season in the Final Four if the Trojans can beat Connecticut tonight in the Regional 4 final. UCLA would meet the USC-UConn winner on Friday in Tampa. South Carolina, the defending national champions, will play the winner of tonight's Texas Christian Regional 3 title game in the other Final Four matchup. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event. Or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
KBLA Talk 1580 is pleased to announce that, like George and Wheezy,
Well, we're moving on now.
earlier this year, we were named as semifinalists for the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025. Wait for it. Wait for it.
You ready?
KBLA Talk 1580 was recently selected as one of 10 finalists being considered for this prestigious award. Hundreds of organizations, institutions, and even cities were nominated in the selection process. But KBLA Talk 1580 has made it to the finals. You're invited to watch live on Wednesday, April 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, as Eco America announces the winner and the runner-up, awarding over $200,000 in prize money. To watch live, just go to ecoamerica.org to register and attend the online ceremony. That's ecoamerica.org. Don't miss the presentation of the American Climate Leadership Awards 2025, Wednesday, April 16th, and wish us luck. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black. At Exquisite Family Mortuary, we know how overwhelming it can be planning a meaningful farewell for your loved one. Secure your peace of mind by calling Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. From traditional funeral services to memorials to direct cremation, pre-needs, and more. Call Charlotte White at Exquisite Family Mortuary for Southern hospitality in Southern California. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. Exquisite Family Mortuary is located nearby in Inglewood, California. Exquisite Family Mortuary, where your loved one becomes our loved one. Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
It's a Black Marriage Monday, and I promise, well, you know what? Let me not start. I was scrolling, and they were talking about Kanye West marriage. He always seems to find his way into the headlines. I promise not to go there. I haven't even seen the academics' interview, so and I think it's more about marketing than marriage anyway. But so you said your list of don'ts is, you don't disrespect each other. You don't cuss at each other. You guys have been married 52 years. Almost 52 years. You still do amazing things like decide spontaneously to go watch the sunset and just sit in the car and watch the sunset together. That's so cute. But that's not a date night. That's just something you guys do, right?
Yeah, well, what my husband does is it's coming up soon. He will look at I think it's a calendar or something that he has that says the sun sets at this time. And he'll tell me, he said, it's coming up, and so be ready, because you have to go at the right time. And we have this place, this hill that we park on over by the beach. And we take some snacks, and we sit there. And, it is the most beautiful, peaceful, heavenly thing that you could do with someone you love. Just sit there and ooh and ah at the colors, and it's not something that, I don't even know how it began. We just, I don't know, we just started doing it. And so we do it every, in the summer or whenever, the time changes where, the light, like now, the time has changed. And so the sun will set, and you can just sit there and slowly watch the colors and I don't know, you just have to be I guess you have to have a certain kind of place in your heart to enjoy something like that. I don't know if that's what it is, but we both really, really get a lot out of that. And it's just so soothing and so calming and so, it's kind of like magical to do something like that and to both enjoy it to that extent when it wasn't something that ever, it just started happening and we started doing it. I mean, we ride to the beach a lot. We go to the park a lot. We just spend time together. We have lunch and dinner together every single day, unless, something, he has an appointment or something like that, because he still works. But other than that, we just enjoy our time together. It's like, it's kind of fun, and he's more spontaneous than I am. I've become a homebody, but he'll be like, okay, get ready, because we're going to ride out to the beach, or we're going to ride here, or we're going to ride there, because he'll like to drive up the Malibu coast and stop and have lunch or dinner or something like that, and just kind of hanging out, just because we enjoy each other's company. You know, that's the thing that we're not trying to figure out ways to be separate. He's going here and I'm going there. I remember people used to ask me about that when we were in our 20s, and they would say, "Well, you're not concerned when he goes and hangs out with the boys?" And it's like, what? Why would I be concerned? It's like, because they don't trust their man, or they don't. I don't know where that comes from, but I'm secure in myself. He's secure in himself. So we didn't have those kind of problems. I think that has to do with that's an individual thing. It's like for me to be sitting around worrying about what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of commentary in the chat. Another good moment, Morris says, is for a couple when they're praying and holding hands in church. B. Bell says, quality time is key for myself and my partner as we're in our second year together, not yet married, but making sure we actually like each other. That's a good idea. And I think that you guys are very intentional. You just said you have lunch and dinner together almost every day. So, that's not a date night. That's a way of life.
Right. It's like, because we want to be there together. It's like We want to, and we plan for, what do we want to get, or what do you got anything in mind, or because nowadays we mostly eat out. So it's like, where do we want to go? What do we want to pick up? Or do I want to whip up something? Or so it's like a conversation. It's like, it just doesn't happen. It's something we make happen together.
I mean, I don't want to make it sound, like there's no bumps. I'm sure you guys have had your ups and downs. What happens,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so what are the must-dos when you disagree, when you fight, if such a thing happens?
I think that's it, that you fight respectfully, and that's why I say we go into the silent thing, is because we will maybe not talk to each other for several days. It's because you don't want to say something wrong. You don't want to say something, so we just agree to disagree. Okay, well, but it's funny because we are not talking at this period of time, right? But if the other person is not, like, something's crooked or something, you straighten it out, but kind of snatch it a little bit. We laugh about it later, but it's like we have a commitment. We're going to go someplace, but we're not speaking. So we agree to not speak, but we still take care of each other. We don't let the other one look crazy,
Yeah.
Even though we're not talking.
Well, but also what I'm hearing is that you wait until you're ready to talk about it without taking shots at each other. So it's not like you're giving each other this silent treatment, and nobody knows when it's going to end. That can be, emotionally abusive. It sounds like you guys have a system of knowing there's no point in arguing about something when you're not ready to talk about it.
Yep. When there's an impasse, you got to be intelligent enough and committed enough to the relationship to realize that, oh, okay, so you feel that way, okay, and I feel this way, and so I ain't going to discuss it with you, and that's okay. So we don't discuss it as opposed to sit there and try to drag each other about it. We'll just not discuss it, and then, over the period of time, one or the other of us will break down, or we'll just have the discussion when things have simmered. I mean, things have simmered down, and both of us aren't on fire.
Right.
You were not both on fire, so we simmered down and say, okay, so we're going to talk about it, and so, or something will come up, or somebody will say something, and we'll start talking about whatever the issue is. So, and sometimes even then we don't agree. Okay, well, so then we're going to disagree about it, but we're not mad anymore. We're not at a point where we're just really angry at each other, ready to, just really say the wrong thing. You just have to know in a relationship, it's like, no, it's time to walk away. We don't need to be having this fight. We don't need to have this argument right now, because we're both really, really mad at each other. And that happens. I mean, with any kind of relationship, a man and a woman, sisters, brothers, anybody. And you just have to choose that this relationship is so much more than an argument.
Yeah. Well, when we continue this conversation, I want to talk to you. You said it was a different time back then, but not all of the couples from back then have lasted 52 years. In fact, sadly, most have not. I'm interested in, mistakes you've seen others making. I mean, we hear so much about the demise of the black family, or the deterioration of the communication between black men and black women. I think somewhat overplayed, about what it takes to keep a marriage going as black people in America, and certainly, how you guys have handled your friends who haven't been able to weather the storm, tells a lot about how we can stay strong and stay together, if that's our intention to do so. And I hope that it is for all that are in loving, mutually supportive relationships. I'm Dominique DiPrima. It's a Black Marriage Monday on First Things First for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
The The Eaton Canyon fire devastated many black families in Altadena, taking more than just homes. It took memories, legacies, and generational wealth. The heart of a black community is now in jeopardy, but Justice Coalition, led by Gage and King LA Lawyers for the People, are here to help. If you've lost your home, we are standing by to hold insurance companies and utilities accountable for the damage caused. When the community suffers, we all suffer. Together, we can rebuild what was lost. Your recovery starts today. Call 626-429-1259. That's 626-429-1259. Or visit www.eatonfirelawyers.net. Justice Coalition, Gage and King, LA Lawyers for the People. We got you. Call 626-429-1259. Visit www.eatonfirelawyers.net. Again, 626-429-1259. This is attorney advertising. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes. Legal representation is provided by licensed attorneys.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Bam! Out of nowhere. Crashed, hurt, don't panic, don't wait, don't call your insurance company. Call 877-CARE-LAW, the car accident attorneys who care about your case and win you the big money you deserve. Car accident, serious injury, other firms just handle cases. We own them at 877-CARE-LAW. We're the premier injury law firm with a powerhouse team of medical experts who prove your injuries, fight for your rights, and get you to max payout fast. No fees unless you win. Dial 877-CARE-LAW now or visit 877-CARE-LAW. 877-CARE-LAW. Hurt in a crash, don't stall, just call 877-CARE-LAW. Faster wins, bigger pay. After an accident, call right away. 877-CARE-LAW. 877-CARE-LAW. Car accident, injury, don't call your insurance company. Call one team, one win. 877-CARE-LAW. Call now or go to 877carelaw.com.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
First Things First on a Black Marriage Monday. You're getting a lot of love in the chat. Venus Thomas with us. Just being an example, a real living, breathing, actual example of a person who's been married almost 52 years to her husband, a black husband and wife, who are both rather outspoken in their own ways and have managed to have a truly, what seems to me to be a truly happy marriage for all these years. But certainly you guys have had other friends that were couples or whatever that did not make it. That maybe were together in the period when you guys got together or in the ensuing 52 years. What have you learned from that, or how do you process it? How do you deal with it?
Well, we could actually see the breakdown. And let me tell you, I think we did a lot of planning. Like, for instance, we were married for 4 years before we had our child. And I noticed that a lot of people, they got married because they had to, like she was pregnant or something like that. It's like our life was really planned. We bought a home, we traveled, we made sure that we were, we wanted to be together before we took the step to have a child. And it's like, she's like, even now, she's like 48 years old. She lives 5 minutes away. she's, we're a team. Even the three of us we're very tight because we planned it that way. We didn't rush into any of the things, and we saw a lot of people making those mistakes, like having kids right away and doing things. And not to say that that's wrong, but for us, it was like, we want to get settled. We want to have a home for a child. There was a lot of planning that went into that, and then we could see others who didn't do any of that, and we could see how the fights broke out, because you start out and you don't have enough money. I mean, when you start out young like that, and we were in our 20s, you start out young, you don't have a lot of money. So if you don't plan to use it wisely, then you start having arguments about the money, and, we've had arguments about the money, but it wasn't those kind of arguments. It was the kind of arguments that, well, let's get it right. Let's fix it. Let's figure it out. Let's do what we need to do, as opposed to we're always short of money because we had kids too fast. We're always short of money because we both shopped too much. We're always short of money because of this or that or the other. And so by planning it out and saying, okay, well, let's buy a home first, let's be set up before we bring a child into this world. And then she was our buddy. I mean, we didn't leave her. Neither of us had family here in Los Angeles, so we didn't leave her any place. So she was always with us. So she became and she knows that. She's even today, that's why all three of us are very, very close, because we kept her close.
Selena Rick says she admires your spirit on the radio and TV. One bad ASS sister. Getting a lot of love. Mad Dog Media says it's a good talk show stuff.
You.
It's not all Jenny Jones or Ricky Lake-ish. Getting a lot of love. But B makes a point, which is to keep people out of your relationship. It's some haters out there talking about you guys are still together, still happy. And you and I have had off-air conversations about you keeping people out of your relationship, even your own family.
Well, that was the main thing. When we first got together, we made an agreement that neither one of us would allow our mother, our fathers, our brothers, our sisters to comment. I remember one time Leroy had a brother who said, well, I wanted to say such and such about, I wanted to discuss something about Venus with you. And he told him, that's not even open for discussion. Okay? You don't get to say nothing about my wife. And so with that...
I love that so much.
Yeah, me too. And that's why I remember it because we don't allow anybody else to say anything about the other one. And I thought it was important. Growing up, I saw that myself in my mother, in her relationship. Everybody was always in their business. I mean, I saw that, and I was just a young kid growing up, and they were always arguing about, well, so-and-so said this, or, so-and-so said that. And it's like there's no argument with nobody else with us because nobody else is allowed in our business.
Yeah,
they don't get a chance. Yeah, they don't.
They don't have a vote.
You don't get the chance to comment on how we raise our daughter or how. I mean, I remember when our daughter's an actress, and I remember when I was getting her in show business. You could hear. We shut out all the noise, and now those relatives and stuff are proud. The ones who want to say, now they trying to get her into show business. So what's that going to look like?
And she did really well. She was a series regular. She continues to work to this day. But, one of the things we started out talking a little bit about is being outspoken, opinionated women. Some people might find, I don't know why, but some people might find intimidating or whatever. And you said your husband, he welcomes that. He relishes your fire. He doesn't try to squash it. But sometimes you've told me when it's gone far enough.
And then there's that time where he backs me up. It's like if you know the other person, when you said enough, or when he's not gonna let me run over him or nothing, but he admires that I have a certain kind of a spirit. That was the thing that drew him to me, was that I was feisty and unafraid, but I can only use that to a certain extent. I can't be like in his face. That would be disrespectful. So there's those parameters,
Yeah, boundaries. Forensic says, even forensic accountant, even when you're ready for children, you have to remember to keep each other in your proper positions so you don't lose one another to your children. I do see that with couples where they, the only thing they talk about is the kids.
Yeah. And they argue about them, and I don't find that we had that many disagreements. I know one big disagreement was like her schooling. I wanted her to go to a private school, and he didn't think that was necessary. But he ended up saying, okay. So it's those kinds of decisions that had to be made early on, because that was a lot of money going into a private school, and I just really, really thought it was so important. And he was like, well, but she can go here, and we don't have to spend that kind of money. But then we hashed it out, and, and I think we both are happy with that journey, and she's definitely happy because she was so glad that, we saw that, like putting her in those kind of private schools that gave her just got different kinds of ideas and different kinds of things to look for. And then also making sure that she stayed in her community and had those friends. So she had that kind of a life where she had both. She could see two sides of of the whole of life.
Right. What you always say to me, that you guys would confer all the time, so that that your daughter was not able to triangulate.
No. We never let her play us. And that's another thing that she likes about us, because we're real cool, we're real hip, and we're, we still stay, like her friends are our friends. They really like us because we could talk to them, and they can come and talk to us about problems that they have that they wouldn't go to their parent about, because I don't know, we just kind of are real. We're real about stuff, and we just made sure that our daughter understood that, no, this is, you don't get to be in between. You don't get to play one against the other, because we're not going to allow that. Just like keeping other people out of our business. It's me and him, number one. And the rest of everybody else are going to fall by the wayside, and nobody else is going to have a say-so. And so she understood that as a kid, that, oh, okay, I can't go to him if he don't give it to me, then I go to her. That's not going to work, because we'll say, well, what did your father say, or what did your mother say?
Molly Bell wants to know if you have a book or something. She doesn't have a book, but she's one of the happiest people I know, coming on 52 years of marriage, so I thought it would be lovely to share insights. You can find her on Facebook, though.
Yep.
Venus Thomas. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. It's always a pleasure, and I always learn so much.
Thank you, Dominique.
I'm going to go to Bell Hooks for my final quote of this Women's History Month. She says, when we drop fear, we can draw nearer to people. We can draw nearer to the earth. We can draw nearer to all the heavenly creatures that surround us. Love that so much. Tavis Smiley's up next. He's Monday morning ready. He's got an incredible show on deck for you today. And there's a whole great 24 hours of programming ahead, so keep it right here. I'll see you on social media. I'm at DiPrima Radio. The station is at KBLA 1580. Let's talk about it. Like my mama used to say, history is now, and we're making it together. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Maryland's Black Governor Wes Moore blames the Dali vessel operators for the deadly Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore last year, which killed 6 maintenance workers. Moore told CNN's State of the Union that the ship sailed despite serious mechanical issues. President Trump stated that he's serious about serving a 3rd term, citing high poll numbers and support from allies, despite the 22nd Amendment prohibiting it. During a phone call with NBC News, he added that there were methods for making it happen. Search and recovery efforts continue for 4 U.S. soldiers missing in Lithuania after their armored vehicle sank during training. Dive teams from the U.S., Spain, and Poland are involved. And Kentucky's Owensboro-Davies County Regional Airport is honoring the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen for a third straight year. A VFW march recognized the World War II pilots who were the first black military aviators and flew more than 1,000 missions, shooting down over 250 enemy aircraft. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Since the dawn of baseball, countless players have heard the call of destiny. Witness the heroes of the game in ballparks nationwide. Get your tickets today at MLB.com/tickets. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Congratulations to the UCLA women's basketball team. They are going to the Final Four for the first time in their 41-year history as an NCAA program. UCLA held off LSU for a 72-65 victory in the Regional 1 final. 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals for junior guard Gary Pointer with 1:30 left. Center Lauren Betts had 17 points and 6 block shots. The Bruins are